one all set up and ready. Fine. This one. All right, let's see. I think that one's good. Got my masking tape, all my fun stuff from the kit. Got the tacket. Don't need that today. Hello, Teresa. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Says I have 3 watching. I don't know who the other one is, unless it's me. I still can't tell if it shows that I'm watching or not. But anyway, good morning. Sorry I'm running just a couple minutes late this morning. It's been a little crazy again today. All right. So go ahead and get everything out from your kit. You can put the lids and the straw back in here. We won't need those today. Just your cup, an arm, your kit. Oh, that's something on mine. It wiped away. I don't know what that was. Anyway. All right. So, put your arm in there like always. Oh, so you have something to hold on to. Get my tumbler stand. Got my tacket, my tape, and then all the stuff from my kit. I'm going to use the same little dauber dudes I used last time for mine today. Oh, that's what I needed differently. I did use one of these when I made this one. And then I forget how alcohol dissolves adhesive. So after I got through, my little foamy pad fell off my thing. So that's why I included those yellow foam sponges in y'all's kits instead. Don't use this for your alcohol inks when we get there today. Not a good idea because it just comes right off. Don't do that. So I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to try to glue it back on somehow. But anyway, I just wanted to show y'all. Don't do that. I'm going to grab a sponge. I tried to get everything for y'all you should need. I'm going to cut my sponge in half. Y'all will probably want to cut these sponges in half like we did for the, I don't even think I have that tumbler here. Like we did for the last tumbler kit when I gave y'all these. Just go ahead and cut them in half so that way you're not wasting a bunch of it. And you get 2 for the price of 1. I gave y'all several of these. I know you won't need them all for today. I wanted y'all to have extras. So just take one and cut it in half. If you want to go ahead and cut all of them in half right now, that would be okay too. But just cut them in half where you get 2. You only need 1 for today. Use that for my alcohol ink instead of my little dauber. So you should have gotten a multitude of lots of things. You got 1 cup, you got 1 alcohol ink, you got 1 of each of the 3 mica powders. You got 1 straw because there's just 1 cup. But outside of that, you would have gotten several of these daubers. You should have gotten several of these sponges. You should have gotten a few of the Bad Mom brushes, which they're just cheap throwaway brushes. I give y'all several of these. This is what I use for my tacket because I don't always remember to rinse these out, and they don't always rinse out nicely anyway. So I use these for my tacket. Let's see. You would have gotten, or should have gotten, a whole set of stripes. There are 3 different sizes. You have small, medium, and large. Okay. Don't forget before you peel off the outside to take your knife and cut down the edge, so you get double your money. So you have both sizes of the stripes. You get the small one and the big one. On the small sheet, those are almost the same size, but don't forget to cut down the side so you have double the striping. But you would have gotten a whole set of these, 3 different sizes. I know it's going to be way more than you'll need for today, but I wanted y'all to have extra. You would have gotten 2 of your little Frankenstein faces. Y'all's are weeded and transfer taped. Mine is not yet. I'll do that in a second. Well, I'll do that actually when we get ready to do it later. Or when I get ready to do it later. And then you would have gotten 2 sets of these too. Okay? So, are you ready to see the cup that we're making today? Here it is. This is the cup we're making today. So one side's going to have our Frankenstein face. Isn't he cute? And the other side's going to have our candy corn. So we have our Sorta Sweet and our Sorta Spooky. I know my Frankenstein's not really spooky. I don't do spooky. Most of y'all in this group know me. No, I don't do spooky and I don't do horror movies and things like that. So this is about as spooky as I like to get. So we have our little Frankenstein guy. And then we have our Sorta Sweet, Sorta Spooky candy corn inside. So I hope y'all like it. I had fun making it and designing it and getting all the things together. Mine, as far as my design, you can do this part however y'all want to, really, guys. Thanks, sis. They're all individual. Even the spiders are individual. I didn't want y'all to have to do them the way I designed it. So your spiders are separate from your spider webs. Your little stars are separate. Even your words. Your sorta is separate from your sweet. Sorta is separate from spooky. They're all separate from each other. I wanted y'all to have, design freedom. Y'all do it how you want it done, but I am going to post a screenshot of how I designed it. So that way when y'all get ready to do your decals, then you have the layout. I did, after I got these on, I did take my trimmer and I went ahead and trimmed them top and bottom. Now that part's up to you. You can trim it if you want. I like to trim it so I don't have a bunch of ridges and rough spots here whenever I go to epoxy. So, but that's kind of up to y'all. Shoot. Hang on one second. Let me run and grab the measurements because without the measurements of each section on the candy corn side and the measurements for the Frankenstein, your prints won't fit. So hang on one second. Let me run and grab that. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand our cup lightly to start with, okay? Don't sand it so much that you sand off down to the silver part of your cup. Just sand it lightly. Let's see, set that there, set that there. I'm going to grab this and my trash can and my sanding block. Alright, so sand it lightly. Y'all know me. I like to sand it over my trash can so that all my sanding dust doesn't get all over my stuff. But just give it a light sand. You don't want a lot of the shiny to be left. But you don't want it sanded down to the metal. Because it makes it better to have it sanded. It has something for everything to adhere to instead of it being such a slick surface. Again, I know that some people don't sand. Some people say it's not necessary. I guess it's kind of a personal preference. My personal preference is to give it a sand. It only makes sense. It needs something to adhere to that's rough and not slick. So, and don't forget the butt. Give it a light sanding too. And then clean it off and dry it off. Get back in there. There we go. Same as always, I use the Walmart brand disinfectant wipes is what I use to clean off my cups. And then I dry them with a paper towel. Some people use alcohol. Ooh, I got that a little too sanded. Don't do that on the bottom. Again, it's kind of a personal preference. You just have to make sure it's all dry before you start putting stuff on it. Some of my sandy bits still got on my table a little bit, so we're going to wipe that off. Dry it off. My table best I can. Thanks, Teresa. I had fun designing this one. I was like, I want to do something Halloweenish, but like I said, y'all know me. I'm not like horror movie, gory, scary, Halloween. I don't know, it's just not me. So I thought this was super cute. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need our green. That can go over there. That can go over there. Those can go over there. All right. So once you've got it sanded, cleaned off, and dried, we're ready to move on to our next step. This pole is not wanting to stay like I need it to. Maybe because this was kind of wonky. Let's try this again. There we go. That's better. Alright, so now what we want to do is we're going to tape off our cup. We're going to start by doing this Frankenstein side. It's all one color. It's all green. I even did the bottom. You don't have to do the bottom green if you don't want to, but I did split mine in half. The whole green is green. So the bottom is a personal preference. I did it green. If you want to do the whole bottom yellow, again, that's up to you. But I just did it green because I've got it all taped off and I just did it all the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a piece of tape. We're going to go straight down one of our sides. Make sure it's straight. Cup is not straight. There we go. Get it as straight as you can get it. Okay. Get it as straight as you can get it going down one side of your cup. All the way top to bottom. Don't worry about the bottom so much right this second, but make sure it's straight and it goes from the very top of your cup to the bottom of your cup. small tape or large. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Whatever you have on hand is perfectly fine. Small or large, either way. We're just going to tape it off. Size of your tape only determines how careful you have to be with your tacket. That's it. And then go ahead and grab another piece of tape to have it ready, but don't put it on your cup yet. Just have it ready on the side. I'll give y'all a minute to do that. I'm going to grab a drink of my tea. Excuse me. Okay, give me a thumbs up if... I hate this stand. This one always sticks. I grabbed the wrong one. I thought I put this one to the side last time. Give me a thumbs up if you have your tape on one side ready. Perfect. Perfect. Yay! Alright. So now, for our decals to fit, our Frankenstein side needs to be 4.5 inches wide. I know, don't fuss at me. I know y'all don't like measuring stuff. I'm sorry. I tried to make it as easy as possible. The other ones are all even numbers, but this one is 4.5 wide, okay? So, from one side of your tape, I haven't even gotten glitter out yet. I've already got glitter everywhere. Okay. From one side, let's turn it over here. We're going to go put your measuring tape right at the end, or right at the edge of your blue tape, and you're going to go around and you're going to measure 4.5 inches. Okay. And we're going to mark it. Where did my marker go? Maybe this one will work. You can use a pencil, you can use a marker. You can just try to leave it and put your tape down. It's up to you. So, stay. One side of your blue tape, or one side of your masking tape, put your deal there to the masking tape just on the edge. Come around 4.5 inches, making sure it's not moving. And just the smallest of small marks, guys. We don't want to have to worry about. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Linnell. I didn't mention measuring tape, and I should have. My bad. Yeah, I didn't tell Teresa and we needed a measuring tape either, so sorry y'all. Don't do that. Stop moving. Thank you. Make sure it's straight whenever it's on here before you mark. Make sure it's straight and it didn't move. I'm going to do 3 spots. Okay. So just go from one side of your tape around and mark 4.5. I marked 4.5 inches at 3 different spots, and your 4.5 should be your big center half mark between the 4 and 5. Why did my camera get blurry? Don't do that. Weird. Okay. 4.5 inches from one edge of your tape to the other side. You may even want to mark, like, this is our Frankenstein side. Okay, you may even want to mark your tape just so you know in a minute when we paint which one you measured 4.5 inches from. Okay, so right now I have 3 little dots marking my 4.5 inches, and I have my F and an arrow on the side that I marked that 4.5 inches from. Okay, so let me know when you've got that marked, because I don't want to lose anybody. And we'll move on. And don't put away your measuring tape. We'll need that for the other side too. Set it to the side. I don't have one. Let me cut a piece of paper. You don't have measuring tape, sis? Okay. I thought you had one of these little guys. Oh, goodness. Taped off both sides with 4.5 inches between. Yep, that's it for right this second. Because once we have that and your 4.5 inches is in between, yep, put your other side of tape here. And then just make sure that your bottom, if you're going to do your bottom half and half also, just make sure your tape covers your bottom marked in half. I'm right on my, I don't want to be on my marks, I want to be right beside my marks. There we go. Marked, taped, 4.5 inches between, and then your bottom tape should meet too, down the center. Make sure that you're like running your finger or your fingernail in these grooves on the bottom to make sure that it's nice and flat so that your tacket doesn't seep underneath those lifted edges. Oh no, you didn't fall behind. Not at all. You're actually one step ahead, so you're fine. I was waiting on Linnell to grab her ruler, and then she couldn't find one, so she's gonna cut a piece of paper at 4.5. But yeah, this is what we've got, and your 4.5 inches is what we're working with. So you're gonna have a little skinny spot on the back. This is not what we're fixing to tack it, okay? This 4.5 is what we're fixing to do our tacket on. Yours isn't meeting at the bottom. You have to kind of adjust them where you come up straight from one side and you come up from the other. Just kind of eyeball them and get them to where they're straight across the bottom. You may have to like maneuver them. Because your curve of the bottom of your cup is going to want to throw it off funky. So you may have to play with them for just a second. Or a minute. You know. So, let me know when you are there. Teresa, you got your bottom taped where they meet like this too? If so, you can just give me a thumbs up. And sis, when you get yours met at the bottom, give me a thumbs up. Perfect. I see Teresa's. Cool. Were you able to get it, sister? Sister. Where am I starting the 4.5 inches from on the tape? Okay, so this one edge here, that's where you want to put your tape or your paper that you cut, whatever. It starts literally at the edge of the tape and goes around. And that's where your 4.5 inches should be, is between your two tape marks. So right at the edge of the tape, and then do your marks, and that's where you want your other piece of tape. So your opening between the two pieces of tape should be 4.5 inches. So there's one side. There's what it looks like, without my thumb in the way. And then you go around to 4.5 inches, and that's where your other tape should be. So your opening between the two should be 4.5 inches. I had to redo mine. It didn't end up being 4.5. Okay. Yeah, we want it 4.5. I mean, if it's like one little hair off, it's okay. We're going to end up trimming it out. And you can take your X-Acto knife and cut it where it needs to be. But try not to go over 4.5 inches, because then it won't cover all the way. Okay. Inside, from one side of the tape to the other side of the tape, should be 4.5 inches. There to there. Does that make sense? Hopefully. You said mark something. Yeah, so what I did is, like, I took my ruler, or my measuring tape, I put it at the top, and I came around to 4.5 inches, and I did one little dot. I did the middle one little dot, and then I did the bottom one little dot. It may be hard for y'all to see, because, like, my measuring tape, or my tape is, like, right at my dots. So start here, measure around, mark it at 4.5. 4.5, 4.5, and that'll help you have a straight guide for your tape. So, I'm going to put it a little closer. Maybe y'all can see my marks. Because there's one little mark right there, one right there, and one right there at 4.5. Okay. So that makes my mark, makes my tape line to where it's going to be nice and straight. And it's 4.5 inches between my tape. So you're going to have one side that's little bitty. This is not the side we're working with right now, okay? We're working with this one side that measures 4.5 inches in between our tape. Okay. Let me know when y'all got that ready. Perfect. Okay, Teresa and Miss Mia is ready. So sis, just let me know now when you're ready. Excuse me. I'm using a piece of paper, so not sure how to verify that, but I think I'm okay. Okay, so you have your tape on both sides, Linnell? Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, don't do that. Stay down. No, sir. Thank you. And you cut your paper at 4.5, so as long as your paper is, as long as your paper fits in between your tape line and the other side of your tumbler all the way down, then you're good. Go ahead and weed my little dude out while y'all are getting that. And y'all's Frankensteins are going to be already weeded and transfer taped, so y'all do not have to worry about this step. I just haven't weeded my own yet. I got y'all's done, and then I just kind of set mine in here on my table. And it's kind of just been chilling since then. Yes, okay, cool. Sweet. Alright, so let me finish this, because once you start, you kind of can't stop. I put my nose back in place because I'm moving. Not putting back. Alright. Okay. So now that we're all taped off and our sides are protected, what we're going to do now is we're going to apply tacket to this area, our 4.5 inch area, and the bottom. If you're going to do it half green, half yellow like mine, you're going to put tacket on this whole side. And then we're going to give it a minute to dry, and then we're going to be using our apple green mica powder, okay? So tack it, your Bad Mom brush, little cheap brush. Don't cake it on, so that way it doesn't take hours to dry. It's an exaggeration. I know it doesn't take hours, but it takes longer than I really want it to if you do it really thick. So I just kind of go in and I just kind of do little squiggles. And then I brush it on. Make sure you're going all the way top to bottom. And when you're doing up against your tape, don't go into your tape. Go from your tape out. Because if you go from your tape or from your cup in, you're actually going to be pushing tacket up under your tape if it's lifted anywhere. And we don't want that. So whenever you get up against your tape, go from the tape out to get those edges. And just brush it all on. Try to get it as smooth as possible. I know sometimes tacket's kind of hard to get smooth. That's okay. Just get it as smooth as possible. So see how against my tape, I'm going from my tape to my cup, tape to the cup. I'm not pushing it that way. We don't want tacket under the tape. And I know this is kind of hard to see because it's white on white, but we need a white base for all these micas to stay true to color. of it as I can in the camera so y'all can see what I'm doing. And on my edges again, I go from the cup out to the edge on my top, so I'm not getting a bunch of it caked up underneath here, okay? And just smooth it out. And I know originally I said this would be done in 2 different videos, but honestly, I think at this point, y'all have all been with me for a while, and y'all know how to put a decal on. And I don't want anybody to feel rushed if their epoxy isn't set yet completely, because before you put your decals on, you want your epoxy to be completely cured, okay? So I am going to post a picture. Oh, what is that? Some weird blue funky thing. I'm going to post a picture of the decal placement for this cup. That way, when your epoxy is cured completely and you are ready to move on to the decals, you'll have everything you need. Because literally after we do this part, you're just going to let your tack-it and your alcohol ink completely dry. You're going to give it 1 coat of epoxy, and then you're going to put your decals on, and then you're going to epoxy it until it's nice and smooth after that. Oh, at this point, guys, I think everybody knows how to put decals on. Y'all have all been with me for a while. A little more tack here for the bottom here. So I'm just going to let y'all finish this up at your own pace according to my layout that I'm going to post after we get done with this video. Because what I'm going to try to do is not this evening, I'm going to try this afternoon. Kind of depends. Like, this is the last weekend for us to get everything out of the storefront space that we are in currently. We have to turn in the keys on Monday. So I've got to get all of that done first. But I'm hoping to have time to come back and do the notebook covers with y'all. Everybody now has their stuff. Teresa is home out of the hospital. My sister finally got her package that the post office decided to go on a field trip with. I don't know. So I'm going to try to come back and do that this afternoon if we can get everything squared away in our store space to get that closed out so I can turn keys in on Monday. So, and that way nobody feels rushed. I don't know what everybody else's plans are for today. I know I talked to Teresa and I've talked to Linnell, but if y'all have something else that's more pressing y'all have to do after we get off of this live, that way you don't feel pressured to come back and do decals with me for your cup. And if somebody likes to use the longer setting epoxy other than the quick set, then again, you can do it at your own pace. So alright, put your lid, make sure you put your lid on your tack-it, set your brush to the side. Don't rinse it out yet. We are going to need it for the other side in 2 of our areas. But we need to let this dry for a few minutes just so it can be tacky for us to put our micas on. But yeah, I think that would be better for y'all to be able to do that on your own time when your cup is completely cured, because you don't want it to be tacky either. Because the Frankenstein face, as long as it completely fits on your cup, as long as your area is correctly spaced, that Frankenstein face can be put on as one full piece. So if your cup is still tacky, your transfer tape is going to want to stick to your tacky epoxy, and it'll just make a mess. It'll start pulling it up and peeling it away. We don't want that. So make sure your cup is completely cured, not tacky at all to the touch before you put it on. If you don't feel comfortable putting your Frankenstein face on in one piece, that's okay too. You can just kind of cut pieces apart and put it on. I had to do that for this one because when I originally did this, I didn't have all my measurements yet. I just kind of eyeballed it and said, yeah, that looks about half. It wasn't. it was not. So, I had to cut my Frankenstein because he was too big. So I had to put it on in pieces. I did like the bottom piece, the top piece. I did his little stitch, which, as you can see, it goes up under my striping because, again, it was too big. And then I did my eyes and eyebrows, and then I did his nose and his mouth and his chin, and then his little bolts. So you can cut it apart if you need to. It doesn't have to be done in one piece if you don't feel comfortable. So I think it's super cute. And I know not everybody likes candy corn. I don't like to eat them, but I think they're super cute. I think it's a cute design. And the top is smaller than the bottom two pieces. Because even on a candy corn, the top little white piece isn't as big as the orange and yellow. So. Oop, that come at this stand. Still some pieces that are too wet. You can kind of tell when it starts to dry, it's not as like glossy white. It's more like a matte looking color. I made a mess with my tacket today, guys. Golly, got it all the way up here. So you can kind of sort of tell. I know white is hard to tell if tacket's dry or not because you can't tell if it's clear or if it's white on a white cup, but like this side's looking pretty good. Like this side is mostly like a matte or semi-gloss, where this side over here is like still shiny. So get it all tacketed. You tack it on. I'll give this a few more minutes to dry, maybe another couple. If it's not dry enough, we may hit it with our heat gun, just to kind of speed up the process a little bit. So, I hope everyone had a good week this week. I know I've talked to both of the two that are on here with me today. I've talked to both y'all. But I think y'all had a pretty good week. Ooh, glad that Teresa made it home from the hospital. Glad Linnell's package made it. When you test it in some inconspicuous parts if at all possible, because yeah, I touched my orange before it was dry and it's kind of hard to see, but I left a fingerprint in my tacket and it transfers. You can see it with the mica powder. So, you know, my little fingerprint is in my cup. And I haven't epoxied over this one yet. So you can hear that it's kind of, you can hear it run over my hands. And I did have a good week. Didn't have to work 50 plus hours. Right? Exactly. Yeah. I know you've been working crazy. Your promotion and everything, trying to train for all that. You've been working a lot. With my striping, on my screenshot, you're going to see that I did a stripe at the top and a stripe at the bottom on this side also. I decided not to do it on my actual cup just because, I don't know, I just liked it the way it went just into the yellow. And I didn't really want another one at the top because I would have had to move my spider webs and stuff down. So I just did each side of my Frankenstein face and then in the middle of my two colors. So again, that part is up to you. I used a little bit thicker one because my thing was too big and it was weird looking when I cut it. But I used the thicker stripe. You can use whatever size stripe because I used the thicker one here. And then I used the medium ones here. So I did large on the side and medium in the middle. But that's all a personal preference, and that's why I included 3 different sizes of striping. Doing a lot better, so my wink went pretty good. Yay! Yes, I'm glad you're doing better, because that was kind of crazy. Alright. How are we looking, guys? Mine's looking pretty good. How's y'all's feeling? Is y'all's ready? We're not wet and like you don't have the wet tacket on your hands. Are y'all ready to mica? Let me know. Good. Yay. I don't really want mica all over my desk, so what do I want to grab? Let me just grab a piece of copy paper out of my printer. If you're working on your silicone mat and you don't care, you can wipe it up later on your mica. Not sure how to tell, LOL. Yeah, just kind of inconspicuously fill around. And if it's not wet, like if you don't have tacket come off on your hand, then you're good. If it's wet and your tacket still comes off on your hand, then you're not dry enough yet. But if it's just sticky and doesn't come off on your hand, and you can kind of tell on your blue painter's tape, like all my tacket is clear now on both sides, so everything looks to be pretty dry. If you want to grab a piece of paper to do your mica over, that's fine, you can. If you're working on your silicone mats, you can just clean it up later. It's just kind of hard for me whenever I'm doing it on my big mat that is basically my table. I don't want to make a mess. Okay. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our mica and we're going to start with our apple green. Go ahead and open it up. You'll probably have to remove your tab off of yours. This is the one I used to make our sample cup, so mine's already open. But go ahead and grab your apple green mica, get it open, and grab one of your finger daubers. Okay, so green mica and your finger dauber. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to dip our little finger dauber into our mica, pick up some of that mica powder, and then you're just going to kind of dab it on, and then you can rub it in. So just start by dabbing off the loose onto your cup, and then you can rub it in. It's like applying it with your finger, except for you're not getting the mica all in your skin this time. It's just in your little dauber dude. So you dab it on and then rub it in. You don't have to get a whole lot on your dauber at one time. Just enough to be able to rub it in. Oh man, I missed a spot with my tacket. Darn it. Okay, well, it's okay. I'll cover it up with striping tape, or with my striping cuts. It will be okay. Ooh, that part's not going to be okay though. That's the only other hard part about doing it on a white base is you can't really see where you got and where you missed. That's okay. We can make it work. Get it rubbed in, and then don't forget your bottom. And make sure you're getting this edge of your cup too. Right there where it kind of creases over, make sure you're rubbing that in and getting that covered. Okay, and once you've got it nice and covered, just give it a good tap off over your trash can. Just get that loose mica powder that may still be on there, just get it off. We don't want loose mica powder left on our cup because if it is going to transfer in our epoxy, and we don't want that. I just kind of tap off my little dauber dude in my mica jar, and then we can close it back up. Let's see, it's gonna be right in the middle of my dude's face. Darn it, okay. So let me see if I can patch my tacket right quick. I do not want a white spot right in the middle of my little guy's face. Let that dry while y'all finish up your green. And once you're finished with your green, go ahead and pull your tape off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull mine because my green that I need to fix is in the center. I always recommend, and y'all been down here for a while now, you know, but I always recommend to pull your tape when your paint or your tacket hasn't been setting for forever, right? We want to pull it when it's wet. Because if you pull it when it's dry, you risk pulling up your glitter or your mica or whatever you've put down. So go ahead and pull that up, and that's going to reveal the other side of our tumbler that we're fixing to work on. All right, let me dry this right quick. Hey, China! China hopped on. Hello, hello. So far what we've done is we've taped off a 4.5-inch section of our cup. Well, we sanded lightly. Then we taped off a 4.5-inch section, did the tacket, and then did the apple green mica powder. This is the cup we're making today. So it's sort of sweet, sort of spooky. We have our candy corn on this side for our sort of sweet, and our cute little Frankenstein for sort of spooky. This is what we were making today. So far we've done the green for this one. Oh, and it's back down to only 3. So I don't know if she hopped back off. Okay. I love the fingertip. I missed the section of, do I just add tacket? Yep. That's what I did. Just carefully put your tacket over where you missed. Make sure and smooth it out with your brush so it's not like a bump. And then just get it dry and then put you some more mica on it. I love these little fingertip daubers too. They are awesome. And then I'm going to go back in and just add my tacket in that spot. Rub it back in. Get that covered. Blow off our extra. Tap off that. And I'm done with my green. Set that to the side. I'm just gonna leave that on there. Yep. So this is what we're left with. I hate that you can kind of sort of tell I had to patch, but I'm just gonna rub it in a little bit more. But there we are. Let's shake off my piece of paper. that's going to be the first step. How are y'all doing? We are good. Yay. Ready. Perfect. Okay. So, for this side, we're going to have our 3 different colors, okay? And like I said, the white is going to be smaller than the orange and the yellow, okay? What I'm going to start with is taping off our orange, okay? So, follow along with me. I'm going to make this as easy as possible. We're going to grab our tape again, okay? Grab you a piece of tape. Okay? Have it ready. And what we're going to do now is we're going to measure, which says this part you could probably just use an actual ruler. You don't have to have one of these because we're going to measure top to bottom. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure our section, okay? So our top white section is going to be 2 inches. So we're going to measure 2 inches and we're going to mark 2 inches, okay? I'm going to do a couple of marks like I did for my green side. I'm going to lay this back on my paper. Okay, so have it at the top. Darn it, stop moving. One little dot at the 2-inch mark. Come across. Again, a dot at the 2-inch mark. And come across to make you a third one so you can get a straight line. And a dot at the 2-inch mark. Okay? So mark 2 inches from the top down 2 inches. Okay? From the top down 2 inches. Next, what we're going to do is you're going to take your painter's tape, your masking tape, whatever you have, and you're going to put this above those 2-inch marks. So your edge of your tape, that is not straight. And don't push your tape down over your green, just go up to your green, okay? So you're going to put your tape above that mark. So we're covering up our 2-inch section basically, but you don't want to you don't have to completely cover it, but we're just going up to it, okay? And then same on your green, just go up to your green section. Don't push your tape down over the green because we don't want it to yank up any of our green mica powder. Okay? So just up to, it's still not straight looking to me. There we go. Okay, so cover up that 2-inch section. Don't push your tape on your green, just go up to your green. Okay? I'm gonna bend that back right there to where it still covers, but it's not laying on top of my green. Okay? So mark 2 inches. And then put your tape on the top part of your 2-inch marks, okay? We're going to cover up this 2-inch piece, or tape off this 2-inch piece right now. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you've got that. Thumbs up from Teresa. Thumbs up from the nail. Perfect. Okay. So now, from the bottom of your tape, okay, bottom of your tape, you're going to measure down 3 inches, okay? So from the bottom of your tape, get you a mark at 3 inches now. 3 inches, boop. Come across, boop, 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 there we go. And then kind of the middle from the bottom of your tape, 3 inches, and a little mark. And again, from the bottom of your tape, 3 inches, and a little mark. Okay? So from the bottom of your tape, down, 3 inches. It's the last measurement you got to do for this cut, guys. Sorry. From the bottom of the tape, 3 inches. Okay. Okay. And once you have that, we're going to tape the bottom section off. So your tape is going to go right at the underside. Perfect. Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Put this to the side. So now this piece of tape is going to go, let go, the bottom of your marks. Taping this, we're protecting this bottom section now. If I can get my cup, I should have grabbed my cup stand, but that's okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to grab my cup stand. Hang on, guys. Trying to hold this and everything else is not working. Alright, let's try this. There we go. I think I marked that one dot a little too low because these other two are not lining up with that. There we go. Okay. So same thing. Put your tape down to your mica, your green mica, but not on top of your green mica, okay? So now what we should have is this section here, this 3-inch section in the middle should be exposed. So we've covered up our bottom part and our top part and left our 3 inches exposed here in the center. Yep, 3 inches. Okay. How we doing? Okay. So once we have this taped off, we're going to put tacket on this middle section. Okay? And then after our tacket is dry, we're going to do the saffron orange mica. Okay? So go ahead and put your tacket on. Again, get it nice and smooth, not blobby and thick. So again, I just take and squiggle some tacket on my cup. Okay, when you're doing the middle, same thing, your tape, you can just pull down. Now, the only part you're going to have to be careful on is when you come up to your other color, you just want to kind of do the wiggle method, just kind of wiggle up to it and pull back. Wiggle up to it and pull back. A lot of tacket on my brush right now. Wiggle up to it and pull back. If you're brave, you can carefully go right along that edge with your brush. Just kind of up to you. Same thing on the other side. Just right up to that color. Right up to your green. Just be careful. Get it nice and smooth. And then again, just set your brush to the side. You're going to need this one more time. So make sure you close your tacket and set your brush to the side while this dries. And while that's drying, if you're ready, go ahead and open your saffron orange metallic mica. Again, you'll have to remove your little cover thing. Mine's already open because I already used it to make the sample. That's what we'll be using next. Yeah, I like these little tape measures that I got. I got them at Hobby Lobby in the fabric section. They're like 98 cents, I think. They have the little silicone like band thing to keep them all together. So I have quite a few of these. I like them for my craft stuff. Get your tacket on, give it a few minutes to dry. So we're going to use the tacket and mica on the orange and the tacket and the mica on the yellow. When we get ready to do the white, we are not going to use tacket on that. We're just going to use the pearl mica straight onto our sponge, straight onto the cup. I could have left it white but I didn't want the stark white of the cup. I really, really, really like this pearl white metallic alcohol ink finish because it's not just white. Oh gosh, I hope we're still on. What happened? Okay, I still see us on Facebook. What happened? It says my tab crashed on Facebook. I'm not going to touch it because it looks like we're still going. Weird. I won't be able to stop the live though. I can still hear and see you. Okay. I'm going to leave it going for as long as y'all can still hear me and see me. Geez, I hope I don't lose this recording for anybody to come back and watch this. Ugh. What is going on? What happened? I still see you. Okay. We're gonna leave it going. Dear Lord, please let it save. If not, we'll figure it out. We're gonna leave it going for right now. Okay. So let's let our tacket dry. Wait, no. Darn it. I picked up green somehow. See if I can get this off here. I don't want green in here. Okay, if y'all don't see me on Facebook, if something happens on y'all's end, call me. Because my tab still says it crashed. So. This makes me nervous, y'all, because I don't want to lose this entire recording. Alright, I'm going to hit restore. If I lose y'all, because I have y'all on my iPad right in front of me, if I lose y'all, I will start it again. And we'll come back. Let me see what happens. Okay. It restored. It looks like I'm okay. Okay. Maybe we're okay. Alright, we'll see what happens. Hopefully. Dear Lord, please let this not mess up. Alright, can somebody comment something for me so I can make sure it's going? And still seeing y'all's comments. Everything's still good. Perfect. Okay. Still good on our... Okay. Sweet. Phew. Goodness gracious. I was starting to panic. I didn't want to lose everything we've done. All right. Cool. And I see a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So how are y'all looking on your tacket? Are we dry? Are we ready? My tacket looks good. So if our tacket's dry and we're good, go ahead, let's apply our orange, our saffron orange. And the same way, guys, you're just going to put a little bit on your dauber, you're going to daub it on your cup, and rub it in. Try not to go over your green. It shouldn't stick because you already have mica there, but just go up to it, not over it, okay? Kind of have to just tilt your finger a little bit. Just go right up to it instead of over it. Love you too, sis. Perfect. I'm glad it's ready. Okay. Go ahead and get that saffron orange in our middle section here. Get it nice and rubbed in all the way up to your green. I know your tape kind of can interfere on these corners, but make sure you're getting your corners. Nice and rubbed in. Yay, I didn't miss any spots that time. Alright. There we go. Sweet. Alright. So after you get your orange in and it's all rubbed on, whatever, pull your tape. Again, do not leave your tape on. Pull your tape. Oh no. Mine went down on my green, but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. Here, let's see if I can just go. There we go. My tape pulled some of my mica off of my tacket, but I grabbed my dauber, rubbed that on. We're good. It covered it right back up. So here's what we've got now. Okay. Here's what we have right now. Crazy stand. So let me know when you've got your orange done and your tape pulled, okay? Let's see if I can get this in here. It's backwards. There we go. And I'm laying this paper down underneath before I put it on my thing, just so my mica powder doesn't come off on my stand. Just kind of trying to keep everything clean. Kind of a glob of tacket. I'm going to take, you can kind of see I've got a glob of tacket on my brush. I'm just going to take a paper towel and kind of squeeze that off. There we go. So that way it's nice and smooth for me to do my yellow. I don't want it to be all yucky and blobby. So. Hi, Mom, Dad. I see you. So let me know when you've got your orange on and your tape pulled. Give me either a thumbs up or a ready or something, and that way I'll know. Hello. We are almost finished with this part, actually, y'all, because next what we're going to do is tacket and mica our yellow on the bottom section and the other half of our bottom, and then we're going to alcohol ink the top and then we're going to set this aside and we're going to let it dry. Make sure that your tacket is completely dry and your alcohol ink is completely dry before you epoxy this. I don't want y'all messing this up. I don't want your alcohol ink making your epoxy repel or any of that stuff. So after we do the mic or the tacket and the mic on the bottom and the alcohol ink on the top, we'll leave it alone. Let it completely dry. I would say at least a couple of hours before you epoxy this, just to ensure that everything is dry, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. And then like I said, I'm gonna post, I've already got the screenshot saved to post in the group of my layout of how I set up the decals. Again, you can choose to do it however you want to do it. It's just my layout suggestion and how I designed the cup for your decals, but I made sure that the decals were all separate pieces for the orange, for the candy corn side. That way if you wanted to change it up or do something different, you can. You'll notice that mine doesn't match up with my layout because, I don't know, I was backwards when I was trying to do this cup, I guess. And this one was actually supposed to go down here. This one was supposed to go here. Anyway, I have these two flipped. But again, I've got them all separate pieces. So if you want to do yours differently than mine, you can. Linnell's ready. Sweet. So yeah, after that, I'm going to post the picture of the layout of how I designed it. So you can see how I designed it. The only part that really matters is this part. I mean, this part's just, it's designed to fit the way that it already is. So this part's the only part that really matters, that you put it on the way it is. So the other side, not so much. This side, you kind of want your Frankenstein face to be your Frankenstein face. All right. So now that all y'all are ready, let's go ahead and we're going to tack it, this bottom here, the bottom section, and the other half of the butt. We're going to do yellow. Set that back right there. Open my tacket. That helps. And then this time you have to kind of be careful on all three sides and not go too far in. So when you're brushing on the sides, just like we did when the green met, just kind of do your little wiggle method. Make sure you have enough tacket on your brush. Just kind of wiggle up to your other color and pull back. Too much. I kind of use the bottom of my cup as my stabilizer for my pinky. And brush it up to it. Do this middle section, of course you can be a little more quicker and haphazard, but when you're at the parts where your colors all meet, just be careful. Make sure you're not overlapping. And don't worry if you can see your little black dot when you put your mica over it. It's okay, or your dot, your mark, whatever you did. That's why we're going to use the striping on it and finish it off, and it covers up any little imperfections where our colors meet. It covers up our little dots that we made our markers with. So don't freak out, it's okay. I may have put a little too much tacket on here, but we're gonna make it work. And if you don't want to do the stripings, the striping cuts that I did, you want to like paint on your little finishing marks with like a paint pen or something. That would be cute too. Kind of haphazard, like wiggle with like little stitching looking things through it. I mean, there's all kinds of things. You don't have to do it the exact way that I sent it to you if you don't want to. Your tack it on, let it dry, and then we'll get our mica on. Sure it's all nice and smooth. I got a little too much tack it on mine, so I'm having to smooth out spots because where the edges of my brush is running over, it's making like little blobby lines and I don't like it. Okay. Looking at the light, it looks like I've got everything, so hopefully so. Alright. I'm gonna wipe off my brush here right quick. That way if I need to touch anything up after I get the yellow on, I can. And like I said, I mean, these brushes are super cheap. You can clean it out if you want to. If you want to clean it out, I would recommend using like alcohol to clean it, just straight alcohol. If you're wanting to clean it out. If not, just throw it away when you're done. But I'm going to set it to the side right now in case I need to do any touch-ups on my yellow. So while my tack is drying, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Magic Yellow mica. Get that all ready. And my little dauber. And really, while that's drying, yeah, we could. While we're waiting on our tacket to dry, go ahead and shake up your alcohol ink, your pearl alcohol ink. You'll notice, because this is a metallic pearl alcohol ink, you'll see how the metallic pearl color actually all settles at the bottom. There's this little ball in here. Mine's kind of stuck. You can kind of see it. But there's a little ball. Now you can hear it's moving. Go ahead and shake this up. You don't want to see that sediment in the bottom. You want to get it all nice and shook up. When it's all shook up, you should be able to see like the pearl color all the way through the whole bottle. Not a sediment at the bottom. The bottom should be pretty clear. Like you should be able to see the liquid moving in the bottom. That's how you know it's mixed up and you don't have sediment in the bottom. Okay? Go ahead and do that. Now, y'all's alcohol ink is not open. So what I recommend to open alcohol ink is to take the lid off. Okay? I kind of like tap it down to get any excess out of the tip of the bottle. And then I take the lid off. And then I will use either like a straight little stabber thing. I have one in one of my Cricut tool sets. Or you can even use your weeding pick and just put it right down the center and push really hard to bust that little opening open to make you a hole. I don't recommend cutting the top off because when you cut the top off, the lid doesn't fit correctly and then your alcohol ink is going to leak. We don't want leaky alcohol ink. So, go ahead and do that. Shake it up. Pop off the top. Or unscrew it. Pop off that top and poke your hole in it. Once you've got that done, let me know. We're going to go ahead and do the alcohol ink on the top while our tacket's drying on the bottom. So give me a thumbs up when your alcohol ink is shook and open. Two things accomplished at once doing this way. Because we gotta let our tacket dry. Which mine's pretty much dry. I can still see like a super shiny area right there, so I don't want to do that yet. But once we do the alcohol ink on this top section, our tacket should be dry. So we can do our yellow. So give me a thumbs up when your alcohol ink is all shook up and open and ready. Sweet. Got a thumbs up from Teresa and Mia. Wait for a thumbs up from Liddell. Ooh, shook and open. Sweet. Okay. So now what we're going to do, don't apply your alcohol ink to your tumbler. No, no. We don't want it running. Because then we got a whole drippy mess to clean up. Okay? Don't do that. Grab your sponge that we cut in half. And on this pointy end, you're going to just put you some alcohol ink on it. Okay? It may take a little bit at first to get some alcohol ink on there because it's dry. And then you're just going to dab, ooh, carefully. You're just going to carefully dab this alcohol ink on, okay? Try to keep your cut moving as it's moving so it doesn't run on your mica if you got too much on your sponge. And you're just going to dab. Oh, darn it. See? Mine ran. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking. But you're just going to dab it on this area in the top. Don't forget that your bottom portion has tacket, so don't stick that to everything. But the reason why I say use the pointy end is so that way we can get all the way up close to our sections that we mica'd. And it's not a big round edge that we're messing with. We can get it right up to the edge of our other colors. And you can see, I'm going to see if I can see this in the camera, but like this part doesn't have any alcohol ink on it. See, it's just the white of the cup as opposed to this really pretty metallic finish of the pearl right here. See how it's different? I didn't want this stark white. I wanted it to be the metallic of the pearl. And I think this alcohol ink was beautiful to finish this part. So once you've got that all nice and sponged on, that top part is done. Kind of smooth it out. Make sure you've got all the way up to your other colors. All right. See? And then make sure you put your lid back on your alcohol ink, and you're done with that. This, you can let it dry. You can see what you think. You can rinse it out with just plain alcohol. You can rinse out, like just pour it on and kind of squish out the alcohol ink that's in here. You can throw it away. You could like curve it and cut it, you know, whatever. Do whatever you want to on this. I'll probably just let mine dry and just take and cut it right off of there. Just cut the hard part and reuse the rest of the sponge, because the rest of the sponge is still great. It's not a problem. No problem on that. So I'll let that dry, chop off the little part because it'll kind of get hard. So I'll just chop that off and I use the rest of the sponge. So what do y'all think? Do y'all like the way that pearl alcohol ink looks over the white? I think it's really pretty. Just adds that sheen to it that just kind of finishes off that white section. What do y'all think? Love it. Yay! Love it, love it. I love it too. I love it that y'all get excited about my designs too. Not just me. It makes me feel good that y'all like my designs. And my color choices. Design choices. All the above. So now whenever you're done with that alcohol ink part, this bottom part, the tacket should be dry for us to do the yellow. How you doing, Linnell? How's it going? Doing all right? So when we're doing the yellow, we're going to do the same way we did our orange, just up to the orange, up to the green, rub it in. Don't forget the butt. Done. Sweet. You ready to do your yellow too, sis? Linnell? missed a spot on my bottom. I missed the spot on the butt. Missed the spot on the butt. See, that's why I didn't throw my brush away yet. See if I can get tiny little speckles. There we go. Tack it on my brush. Doing that now. Sweet. Gun to get it to dry faster. Sorry if that was loud. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Much better. There we go. All right. So how's everybody looking? How'd it go? Do you like it? What you think? It looks cool. We love it. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It makes me happy. And I think what I'm going to do on this one, like, I don't particularly like seeing the hog thing on here. I mean, it's a personal preference. I just don't care for it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black marker, a black paint pen. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Let's see here. Paint pen. Here we go. And I'm just going to, like, squiggle over it and make it look like stitching. I just don't like seeing the bottom, those words, which I know why they do it. They brand it. It's cool. I get it. I just don't like seeing it. So I think what I'm going to do, of course you would want to do this after you've epoxied. Okay, mine's epoxied and I've got my decals on. I haven't epoxied over my decals, but I think what I'm going to do, and I may even do this with, I don't know. I think if I had a thicker marker to cover up more of this, it'd be better, but this is, I mean, it's working. Kind of just did that, and then I'm just going to go back through and do like little stitching marks. I think this paint pen may be running out of paint, but we're going to make it work. some stitching, like Frankenstein stitching marks on this side. I'll probably just go ahead and do it all the way around. If you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could try to do like a spider web. Let's see. Let's just see what we get here. Follow the curves of our cup. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Kind of did a not so straight spider web and then matched it up with my stitching on the other side. I think even might even just go one step further. Just do some stitching. There we go. Yeah, I think that's cute. Finishes off the bottom of the cup. You don't notice the hog thing so much. So, again, that part's up to you. You can do it if you want. You don't have to. It's your cup. Do what you want to do. But that is it for now. Like I said, make sure that you let this completely dry. I don't want your mica coming off in your epoxy. I don't want your epoxy getting cloudy because your tacket's not totally dry. I don't want the alcohol ink repelling your epoxy and then you've got like these weird divots. I don't want any of that on y'all's cups, okay? So make sure that you let this completely dry. I would give it an hour to 2 hours just to make sure. And then you're going to epoxy this cup. After your epoxy is completely set, not tacky at all, then go in and put your decals on. I have already weeded and transfer taped y'all's Frankenstein faces. So that part is ready to put on. And then, I have glitter in this cup. And then this part here, like I said, these are all separate pieces. So you can either choose to put them on the way that I have it in the screenshot of my design that I'm going to post. Or you can do it totally different. It's up to you. It is your cup. You finish it the way that you want. But I am going to post my design part so you can see where it goes and how I did it if you want to do it exactly like that. And then as far as your striping, after you get all your other pieces on, do your striping. The one thing I will tell y'all is to be aware, be mindful of where you put your spider webs and things. I came off of the exactly where my colors meet. I came off of that just a little bit. That way I have my striping that can go on and it didn't cover up my spider web. Because like if I would have put that exactly on the corner of where my colors all meet, it would have been covered up, right? You wouldn't have seen the line of my spider web. So make sure that you are bringing it up and in a little bit. This one I brought in a little too much, but it still looks okay. But bring it up and in a little bit to where when your striping is put on, it doesn't cover it up, okay? So just be mindful of that. But I will post that so that way after your cup is dry and your epoxy is set, you can put all of those on. I think at this point we all know how to put decals on. And then after your decals are on, you will just epoxy until smooth. It's probably going to take a couple of coats. Make sure that your striping cuts are staying down before you epoxy. These are metallic sheets. This is a brushed chrome vinyl. Sometimes they want to lift, so make sure that they're all staying down nice and flush and on the cup so that way they don't lift when you epoxy. But otherwise, that's it for this cup. Choose you for your bottom. Do it how you want to do it. Have some creative freedoms. Go for it. But I hope that y'all love it. I love it. I love the way it came out. And I appreciate y'all sticking with me for all the time that you have when we've been in the group. Like I said, I still plan on hopping in. I still may post some designs and stuff for y'all to be able to cut and do on your cups. I don't know. I don't want it to be the end. I don't want it to be a goodbye. I just want it to be a see you later type situation for our group. And if times change, if things change where I can maybe start it back up again, then we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But I am still going to do the video for the book covers. Now that Teresa's home and Linnell's got her box that took a field trip and all that stuff, Mom can do it too. I am still going to do that. I don't know if it's going to be today. Like I said, we've got to be out of our storefront space. I got to turn the keys in on Monday. So it may not be from here. I may end up doing it from home, but I will do it either today or tomorrow. I'm gonna say that. I just can't give an exact time because I gotta see what we've got going on in the storefront. I know Mom and Dad's been busy over there while I've been doing this, but I still want to hop in. I still want to see how y'all are going. I want to see your finished cups. I want to see your finished stuff that you've made from my kits or from my ideas or any of our craft alongs, really. I know Teresa hasn't been able to. I love you too, sis. Teresa hasn't been able to do a lot of the other ones, so I want to see them when y'all are done. I want to see what you do. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me. I want to see your finished cups. Please post them. Please, please, please. And any other thing that y'all have done, please post them. I like seeing them. It makes me feel good that y'all are using what I've taught you. So thanks again. I love y'all. Show me what you're done. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.